So in a recent video, I explained why I started my online business, and I also touched on why I never really wanted to work for anyone else. So in this video, what I want to do is I want to go deeper into why a 9 to 5 is just not for me. Now before we do that, I would really appreciate if you would drop a like and you would hit subscribe if you are new. So as I mentioned in that other video, one of the biggest motivations for me to start an online business was freedom. And personally, I just can't feel free and feel like I have a lot of freedom in my life if I'm working for someone else and taking orders from someone. And I'll be honest, that's just something I've known for a very long time. Now, I have never worked a 9 to 5. I have worked as a freelancer and a contractor for a company where I was obviously given tasks on a daily basis and I was obviously told what to do. So I have a very good idea of what that looks like. Now, quick disclaimer, a 9 to 5 is perfect for a lot of people, and a lot of people can thrive in the environment of a 9 to 5. They can be happy, they can be fulfilled, and they can make decent amounts of money and have a good life. But for most people, and definitely not me, that would not be the case. As I mentioned, freedom is such a big motivator for me, and freedom really comes down to three main things. It's time freedom, it's location freedom, and it's financial freedom. If I was working in 9 to 5, it would be almost impossible to satisfy all three of those criteria. Let's say I'm working a 9 to 5. I don't have time freedom because I have to work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, and that is just set. I don't have location freedom because I've got to work in the office. Now, because of certain events, a lot of people are working from home, so they have a bit of location freedom, which is really interesting to see. And I wouldn't have financial freedom. So in terms of a 9 to 5, it can satisfy, in my opinion, one out of the three things. It can satisfy location freedom, it can't really satisfy time freedom, and it has a very slim chance of satisfying financial freedom. Now, obviously, you can make a lot of money in a 9 to 5. You could work as a top level executive and you could make $1 million a year. So you can actually make a lot of money and you can get financial freedom with a 9 to 5. But for the vast majority, for the 90% of people out there, that's not going to be the case. Now, working for myself, I can have freedom in all of those areas. And the thing is that it's up to me. So if I don't achieve financial freedom, that was up to me. That was not due to the boss who just didn't pay me enough. That was literally me. It's all on me. I didn't make enough, and that's my fault that I didn't achieve that. I also get location freedom because I can run a business that I can run anywhere in the world. And that's what I do right now. I run a social media marketing agency, and I can run that from anywhere where I have my laptop, I have my phone, and I have an internet connection. Location freedom for me is just such a big thing, and it's not just because I want to travel every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. It's more of just having that freedom. Just knowing that I could stay in one place for 3 months, but if something happens and I just want to pack it up and I want to go somewhere else, I can do that. I don't have to resign. I don't have to try and get a new job. I can just do it. And time freedom is just such a big factor of the overall freedom package. Now, right now, I work a decent amount of hours. I definitely work more than the average person who works a 9 to 5, and I know that, hands down, I definitely do. I'm doing that because I know if I put in more time now, I will have more financial freedom in the future, and that's a big motivator. But I also know that I could work way less if I wanted to, and that is this whole premise of freedom. It's that you have the choice to do the things you want to do. So in my case, I may work more than 40 hours a week, but I have the choice to do that. I could sit back and I could work 20 hours a week and everything would probably be fine. But I'm working not for current me. I'm working for my future self. I'm working to build up a legacy and multiple businesses that will keep making me money 10, 20 years into the future. So let me just walk you through an example, right? If I was an accountant, I have this corporate job, I could have location freedom. You know, I could be able to just work from my laptop, travel the world, and just clock in on my 9 to 5. But I wouldn't have the time freedom. And like I said, it would be very hard for me to get financial freedom. Even if I was making a lot of money with the company, and let's say they were paying me multi 6 figures a year, they're paying me $250,000 a year, 250,000. That sounds great, you know, and that's a decent amount of income. But I could be fired in the morning. I have no control over that. If someone in the top level team doesn't like me, or I do one slip up that I couldn't really control and it was due to someone else, that could cause them to fire me. And if that happens, I go from making $250,000 a year to zero, absolutely zero. So you can make a lot of money with a 9 to 5, but you don't have freedom because you can make a lot of money and then be fired 2 months later. You could have had a job and then this virus came around and you could have lost your job and you could have went from $250,000 a year to zero. And you also can't increase your income rapidly. Now, if you're an accountant, right, you're probably going to get an increase of maybe $2,000 every 2 years. And I know that because one of my friends is an accountant and the rate she gets is a $2,000 increase every 2 years. And like, that sounds good, right? You know, guaranteed you're making basically an extra $1,000 a year. But when you break that up on a monthly basis, it's an extra €100 a month. It's not a whole lot of money. And my main point about this is that you can't control that. If you want to go from making 50 grand a year to 100 grand, you have to wait years. You have to wait years for that to build up and to get those increases every 2 years. Now with an online business and with your own business, you have the potential to do that in a matter of days. If I want to make an extra 2 grand, I can go hell for leather, I can hustle, I can work tons of hours, and I can probably make that extra 2 grand. So there's so much things with a 9 to 5 that I just couldn't control, and I am a control freak. I like to know that if I want to make more money, I can do that. I just have to turn up the gears. I have to outreach to more potential clients. I've got to sign more clients. I've got to improve my team, improve the systems in my business, and then I'll make more money. If I had to sum up why a 9 to 5 is just not really a good choice for me, it really comes down to, again, freedom, but also the fact that I can't control my results. Now, as I mentioned at the start, a 9 to 5 can be amazing for a lot of people. Now, as I mentioned at the very beginning, a 9 to 5 can be great, right? For me, it's just not the choice. It's just not the route I want to go down. And it's just not something I would get any fulfillment out of. So if you are working a 9 to 5 and you are enjoying it and you're making decent money and you can travel and you can do the things you want, that is amazing and I'm really happy for you. But all I know is that for me and for the vast majority of people out there, it's not the route to go if you want to have freedom in all areas of your life. All right, so we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.